Now, Zachary, I know you haven't got much experience in anything in particular, but there must have been a time in your life when you've created a resume.
Yeah, I can remember creating a resume. I probably don't remember creating the resume as much as I remember picking out which paper I was going to use to put the resume on.
Yeah.
And of course, that's back 20 years ago when a resume was, that was your main dossier, your main portfolio, and what you used to get a job.
I was really big on fonts. So when I first started doing it, we had, it's like when the move from typewriters to computers and word processors, and so yeah, fonts were my big thing, serif, sans serif. At the time I had nothing to put on it anyway, so the fonts became really, really important. But one of the things that people often talk about now is this: is it the end of the resume? Is it still relevant anymore? Do people still need to be creating these documents?
Yeah, I hear that all the time. I think, and I don't think it's the end of the resume. I think it's the end of the resume as we know it or as we previously defined it. And what is our resume today? And our resume is probably not any one thing or piece of paper or document that we save or look to find and make sure we're updating regularly, but rather a conglomeration of many things. Our online profile, what we're posting, our preferences, the clubs we're joining online, what people can find out about us. It becomes our resume that tells people who we are and about our skills and our preferences and likes.
I think also as the social layer gets bigger and bigger, it's also going to be increasingly who you're connected to, what sort of information you share back and forth with each other. There's this whole I think I hear what you're saying is that resumes are still a component of what's going on and what's looked at, but it's just a facet of the bigger picture of this sort of more complex understanding of someone's potential for a role.
Yeah, absolutely. And I still have a resume. I still have a Word document resume. I use it more for my own personal use to ensure that I update where I've been, what I've done, all of the awards I've gotten, all those great things.
Tell us about some of those awards.
But really, how do you keep it all in one spot so that I have that information at the touch of a button? We talk about technology and social media and all those things making it so easy, but they're all different bite-sized components. And on one, I may post more things about this part of my career or background. This part may be much more about my personality, my likes in a social setting, skills. So I like that I still have a resume that brings it all together for me, even though I may not be utilizing that in the true sense of how we used a resume in the past.
I think too, with the change in work style, if we compare it to say 20 years ago, a resume could quite accurately describe, because of this linear nature of, I went from this job, did 5 years there, went to this job or this company. So it was a very unidirectional sort of process. Whereas now I think the increase in tempering contracts as a desirable or a work style for a lot of people. People are actually in permanent jobs perhaps, but also really pursuing other passions and having other projects going on, which they feel is an important part of their overall package as a person or as a potential employee for the world. So it's a much more complex picture even within the resume itself.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So it's not necessarily that the resume is dead, but it's changed. It's evolved, and it certainly is. Its definition involves much more than a pen and paper or a specific font that you may or may not need to use on a resume.
Yeah. Tell me about some of your awards.
There's so many. It's probably not enough time in this video chapter to discuss those, but Recruiter Innovation, Man of the Year, Top HR Workforce Professional,
GQ.
GQ, that cover's coming soon. I haven't gotten that yet.
Nice.